The Melody Buzzard Files. The disturbing disappearance that shocked America. The Girl in the Hood. Before we dive in, if dark mysteries and real unsolved cases keep you awake at night, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the thousands who can't stop watching these twisted true stories. Because what you're about to hear is one of the strangest missing child cases in modern California history. The first time the public saw the image, they didn't believe it was her. A young girl, head bowed beneath a gray hood, walking quickly across a cracked asphalt parking lot. Her face hidden behind strands of jet black hair that didn't look natural. The timestamp read October 7, 2025, 3:41 p.m. But when investigators slowed the footage, zoomed in, and enhanced the face beneath the wig, the blood drained from every agent in the room. Because the girl in the photo looked exactly like 9-year-old Melody Buzzard, the child who hadn't been seen in over 2 years. Lompoc, California. A quiet coastal town where fog rolls in off the Pacific and clings to the rooftops like a ghost that won't leave. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, or thinks they do. For years, neighbors described the Buzzard home as ordinary, a small, single-story house with a patchy lawn and toys scattered across the porch. But inside those walls, something was deeply wrong. Melody's mother, Ashley Buzzard, had grown increasingly isolated after her husband's death in a motorcycle crash. Friends said she stopped answering calls, pulled Melody out of playdates, and rarely left the house except late at night. The only consistent sound from that home, one neighbor recalled, was a piano. You'd hear this haunting melody, the same notes over and over, she said, sometimes until 2 or 3 in the morning. Then one day the music stopped. The Lompoc Unified School District first raised the alarm. Melody had been enrolled in an independent study program, a kind of at-home schooling system. But after a few months, the district lost contact. No assignments picked up. No calls returned. They sent letters, emails. A truancy officer even showed up at the Buzzard house. No one answered. When sheriff's deputies were finally sent for a welfare check, they found the front gate padlocked and curtains drawn. The mailbox overflowed with unopened mail, medical bills mostly. Inside, through a narrow crack in the curtain, a deputy saw a glow from a TV. The house looked lived in but eerily still. When Ashley finally opened the door, she seemed dazed, thin, pale, eyes darting to the street like she was expecting someone to follow the officers there. "Where's Melody?" one deputy asked. Ashley smiled. "She's fine. She's with a friend." "What friend?" She paused, her lips tightening. "Someone you wouldn't know." That was all she said. For weeks, investigators tried to locate Melody. No recent medical records. No activity on her school file. No digital trail at all. No photos, no posts, nothing. It was like the little girl had vanished into thin air. But the first real break came from a security camera, hundreds of miles away. A small rental car agency outside Omaha, Nebraska, reported suspicious footage. A woman matching Ashley's description had rented a white Chevy Malibu using a California ID. She was alone. But when technicians reviewed the outdoor security feed, they spotted a small figure in the passenger seat, a girl wearing a hooded sweatshirt, clutching what looked like a stuffed bear. The timestamp? October 7th, the same day the Lompoc district marked Melody absent for the last time. FBI analysts confirmed it. The license plate matched Ashley's rental record. The woman behind the wheel was definitely her. And that meant one thing. Ashley had taken her daughter across state lines. The investigation went national overnight. Highway checkpoints were alerted. The FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team joined in. They began piecing together Ashley's movements using cell tower data and gas receipts. The route was bizarre, erratic. Ashley's car pinged in California, Nevada, then Utah. By the time she reached Kansas, her cell signal went dead. 2 days later, she was seen again in a Walmart parking lot near Topeka, alone. No Melody. When police questioned her back in California, Ashley insisted her daughter was safe. "She's where she's supposed to be," she said cryptically. But when pressed, she refused to say more. Detectives described her as detached, paranoid, and uncooperative. Then came a shocking twist. 3 weeks later, the FBI obtained security images from a rest stop outside Lincoln, Nebraska. In one of them, a young girl in colorful leggings was walking just a few paces behind Ashley. She wore a dark wig, long, straight, and completely unlike her natural curls. It wasn't until a facial recognition expert ran the images that confirmation came back. 98% probability, the child is Melody Buzzard. The photo was made public. Within hours, it was all over the news, missing California girl seen alive in disguise. But instead of relief, investigators grew more alarmed. The child looked thinner. Her posture was slouched, guarded. In one frame, she glanced directly into the camera, her eyes wide, almost pleading. Something about that look chilled even the most seasoned agents. The Buzzard case quickly became one of the most confounding active missing child cases in California history. There were no ransom notes, no demands, no clear motive. Just a mother who refused to speak, and a daughter slipping further from sight. Neighbors claimed they'd seen Ashley at night, days before the welfare check, loading boxes into her car. She was whispering to herself, one recalled, like she was arguing with someone who wasn't there. Family members later told investigators Ashley had become obsessed with the idea that people were after her. She believed the government was tracking her through Melody's school Chromebook. She stopped answering family calls entirely. And then, she ran. When FBI agents searched Ashley's Lompoc home, they found something strange. Every mirror in the house had been covered with cloth. Windows sealed with black tape. In the bedroom closet, they discovered a notebook filled with frantic handwriting, pages of disconnected sentences and warnings. They're watching. The light poles have eyes. Melody can't go back. But the most disturbing entry was scrawled across the final page. If they find us, she'll forget who she is. Theories spread fast. Some thought Ashley was hiding her daughter out of delusion, convinced she was protecting her. Others feared a darker truth, that something terrible had already happened, and Ashley was lying to buy time. But then, 1 week after the notebook's discovery, a new image surfaced, this time from a rural gas station camera in Kansas. A woman matching Ashley's build walked in wearing oversized sunglasses and a baseball cap. And behind her, that same small figure, barely visible in the grainy frame. The timestamp, October 10th, 7:23 p.m. The day Ashley was last seen with her daughter. But here's where it gets darker. When investigators reviewed the footage frame by frame, they noticed something impossible to ignore, something that made even veteran detectives fall silent. Because in the reflection of the store's glass door, just behind the little girl, was another face, a man's face, watching her. And the FBI had no idea who he was. The man in the reflection. Before we begin, if this story already has you double-checking every reflection, make sure you're subscribed. What happens next takes the Melody Buzzard case from missing persons to something far darker. When the FBI first enhanced the Kansas gas station footage, they didn't realize what they were about to uncover. The man's face in the glass reflection appeared for only half a second, a blur beside the gas pump outside. But when digital analysts stabilized the footage and sharpened the frame, a chilling detail emerged. The man wasn't just there. He was watching her. He stood perfectly still, facing the girl as if waiting. His build was heavy-set, maybe mid-40s, wearing a brown jacket and baseball cap. But it wasn't his presence that disturbed investigators. It was his expression. He wasn't surprised or curious. He looked familiar. And then, one analyst muttered what everyone was thinking. Has anyone checked if that's the father? Of course, that was impossible. Melody's father, Jacob Buzzard, had died 9 years earlier in a motorcycle crash. His death certificate was on record. His ashes had been scattered off the coast. But now, for the first time, agents wondered if that story was as straightforward as it seemed. They pulled the original accident file, and immediately red flags appeared. Jacob's crash had happened on a rural road outside Santa Maria. According to the coroner's report, the body was severely burned, identified only through dental records. But the dental chart had come from a private clinic, one that closed 2 weeks after the accident. The attending dentist? Never located. Investigators realized they couldn't even confirm that the man buried as Jacob Buzzard was really him, which raised a terrifying possibility. Had Ashley been on the run from someone who wasn't dead? Back in Lompoc, FBI agents re-interviewed Ashley's estranged relatives. Melody's aunt, Lizeth Mesa, remembered something odd. A year after Jacob's death, Ashley claimed she kept seeing a black sedan parked outside her house at night. She said he was back, Lizeth told agents. That he never died, that he wanted to take Melody. Everyone brushed it off as grief, paranoia. But now it didn't sound so far-fetched. Agents ran the Kansas surveillance still through the FBI's facial recognition database. 97 minutes later, a name popped up, Elias Hartman, a former mechanic from Bakersfield. Arrested twice for assault. Never convicted. But here's the kicker. Elias had once worked at the same auto shop as Jacob Buzzard. Same age. Same height. Similar jawline. Was Elias the man in the reflection? Or was Jacob living under a different name? Either way, investigators realized something critical. Whoever he was, he wasn't random. Meanwhile, Ashley's silence began to crack. After days of ignoring agents, she finally agreed to a brief interview, under strict conditions. No cameras. No press. Just one FBI agent and her attorney present. The meeting took place in a sterile conference room at the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. Ashley looked fragile, eyes sunken, fingers trembling as she clutched a styrofoam cup. The agent started gently. "Ashley, we've seen the footage. We know you and Melody were in Kansas. We just need to know she's safe." Ashley's lips twitched. "You don't understand. He found us." "Who?" She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned forward, whispering, "He's not supposed to be alive." The agent asked her to explain, but Ashley shut down, repeating the same words. "He's not supposed to be alive." Then, almost under her breath, "She doesn't remember what he looks like now. I made sure." When the interview ended, Ashley was detained overnight for psychological evaluation. But during processing, she said something that made every investigator in the room freeze. "I didn't lose her," she murmured. "I hid her." The next 48 hours became a frenzy. Agents rechecked every rest stop and hotel along Ashley's route. They pulled traffic camera data from Kansas to Nebraska. One image finally surfaced: a white Chevy Malibu parked behind a boarded-up motel off Highway 81. It was taken just 1 hour after the gas station footage. When FBI and local deputies reached the site, the motel was abandoned, rooms gutted, windows smashed. But in room 12, the door had been recently pried open. Inside, agents found a child's shoe, a small backpack, and a paper plate with 2 half-eaten sandwiches. Fingerprint analysis confirmed it. Melody had been there. But there was no trace of her now. The backpack contained only a few items: crayons, a toothbrush, and a folded drawing. It showed 2 figures holding hands under a dark sky. The words scribbled in a child's handwriting read, "Mommy says the man can't find us if we stay quiet." That message changed everything. The case was no longer treated as a simple abduction. It was now classified as a parental concealment under threat, meaning Ashley may have hidden Melody from a real or imagined pursuer. But if that pursuer was real, every minute mattered. The manhunt for Elias Hartman, or whoever he was, intensified. Meanwhile, back at headquarters, agents revisited one more piece of footage, this time from a traffic cam near the Nebraska-Kansas border. At 7:41 p.m., the white Malibu appears. Ashley at the wheel. The child asleep in the passenger seat. But 30 seconds later, another vehicle enters frame, a black 1998 Lincoln Town car, its license plate partially visible. The 2 cars travel the same route for nearly 12 miles. Then the Malibu abruptly exits toward the abandoned motel. The Lincoln follows, and never reappears on camera again. Agents tracked the partial plate to a junkyard outside Wichita. The car had been found burned, only a frame left. Inside, investigators found remnants of duct tape, a disposable phone, and a photograph so scorched it was barely legible. Forensic techs restored it as best they could. The image showed a man, a woman, and a baby, smiling. Written on the back, Melody's first birthday. And the man? It wasn't Elias. It was Jacob Buzzard. Now the investigation spiraled. Could Jacob have faked his death? Was Ashley complicit? Or had she discovered something she wasn't supposed to, and fled before he found them again? FBI behavioral analysts began constructing a timeline of psychological decline. The covered mirrors, the notebooks, the wigs, all signs of someone terrified of being recognized or tracked. But what if Ashley wasn't paranoid? What if she was being followed, and no one believed her? Then a new call came through the tip line. A trucker driving through northern Missouri claimed he'd seen a young girl matching Melody's description at a rest stop. She was with a man in a brown jacket. He was talking to her, the driver said, but she looked scared, like she wanted to speak but couldn't. He gave agents the exact location. By dawn, a full tactical team was on site. The rest stop was empty. But inside the women's restroom, taped to the back of a stall door, was a crumpled note, written in shaky pencil lines. Read. He said she's mine too. Authorities now had more questions than answers. If Jacob had survived, where had he been for 9 years? And how had he found Ashley and Melody again after all this time? But one agent, Special Agent Dana Reese, refused to let it rest. She noticed something odd about the handwriting on the note. It didn't match an adult's. But she's not just running anymore. She's leaving clues. The basement in Nebraska. If you thought the story couldn't get darker, brace yourself. What investigators discovered next didn't just rewrite the Melody Buzzard case. It shattered everything they thought they knew about Ashley, her husband, and the shadow that had been following them across America. When the crumpled note, "He said she's mine too," arrived at the FBI's evidence lab, analysts confirmed what Special Agent Dana Reese already suspected. The handwriting wasn't Ashley's. It was small, uneven, with light pencil pressure, a child's. It belonged to Melody Buzzard. That note was her first confirmed communication since vanishing 2 years earlier. But one detail made Reese's blood run cold. The note's paper wasn't from the rest stop. Under UV light, it revealed faint horizontal lines, part of a printed address. Loma Creek Motel, Lincoln, Nebraska. The same abandoned motel where Ashley's car had last been seen. Agents swarmed the property again, this time armed with ground-penetrating radar and cadaver dogs. The basement of the motel, once used for laundry storage, had collapsed years earlier after a flood. But when they brought in excavation gear, the dogs alerted immediately near the far wall. Beneath a rotted floorboard, they found a rusted metal door. No hinges, no handle, just welded shut. It took 6 hours to torch it open. Inside was a narrow stairwell descending into darkness. The air was thick with mold, dust, and something else, something metallic. SFX, low humming, faint water dripping. Visual, flashlights cutting through pitch black, camera shaking slightly. At the bottom was a small room, concrete walls, a single mattress, a desk, and dozens of sheets of paper pinned up. Drawings all made by a child's hand. Each one showed the same thing, a man standing under a streetlight. His face was scribbled out with heavy black crayon. And on the wall above the bed, written in red marker, "He's not Dad." Forensics found DNA on the bedding, female, matching both Ashley and Melody. But the most disturbing evidence came from a discarded phone charger tucked behind a pipe. When digital techs reconstructed the data, they uncovered a single deleted video file. It was only 21 seconds long. The frame showed a child sitting cross-legged on the mattress. A faint voice behind the camera said, "Tell them your name." The girl hesitated, then whispered, "Melody." "Boss, where's your mom?" the voice asked. She looked to her left, then the video cut out. The voice didn't belong to Ashley. And it didn't match any known sample of Jacob Buzzard's voice either. By now, the FBI considered 3 theories. Jacob had survived and was hunting Ashley and Melody. Ashley had fabricated the story and hidden her daughter due to psychological collapse. A third party, possibly connected to Jacob, was manipulating them both. But a discovery in Lincoln's county archives pushed the case into a new, horrifying direction. The Loma Creek Motel had been purchased 3 years earlier, under a shell corporation. The registered owner? Elias Hartman. Remember him? The mechanic who worked with Jacob years before his death. The same man believed to be in the Kansas reflection. Agents raided Hartman's last known property, a small farmhouse outside North Platte. It looked abandoned, but in the basement they found signs someone had been living there recently. Sleeping bag, canned food, burner phone. And next to it, a box labeled Buzzard, 2014. Inside were photos, dozens of them. All of Ashley and Melody. Some clearly taken from a distance. Others through windows. The earliest dated back 9 years. Meaning, someone had been watching them since before Jacob's accident. But here's where it gets even darker. Hidden among the photos was a folder containing a death certificate. Jacob Buzzard, 1984 to 2016. It was authentic, signed by a Santa Maria County coroner. But next to it, stapled to the corner, was another document, a Department of Defense employment record. Jacob had once been an aerospace technician at Vandenberg Air Force Base. His position? Classified engineering support. Buried in that file was a line that changed everything. Reassigned following Project Hummingbird decommission. Status: protected. Protected. Not deceased. Jacob Buzzard had never died. He'd been hidden by the government. SFX, static distortion, heartbeat under low drone. Visual, quick flashes of classified documents, dark corridors, blurred ID badges. The FBI contacted Vandenberg officials, but the base denied all involvement. Every document relating to Project Hummingbird was redacted. Even the coroner who'd signed Jacob's death certificate had retired abruptly and couldn't be located. For Agent Reese, one thing became clear. Ashley had discovered the truth and run before they could silence her. But if that's true, who was the man in the reflection? 2 weeks later, a break came from an unlikely source. A gas station clerk in Beatrice, Nebraska, recognized Melody's face from a wanted poster. She'd seen her days earlier, with a man fitting Jacob's description. He'd paid in cash, bought 2 bottles of water, and told the clerk they were headed north toward the Missouri border. At 2 a.m., Reese and a tactical team searched the nearby woods where the pair had last been seen. The forest was dense, silent except for wind rustling through dry leaves. Then they spotted a trail of footprints, small, bare, leading toward a derelict storm shelter half buried in the earth. When they pried it open, a rush of cold air poured out. Inside was a narrow tunnel leading to an underground chamber. And at the far end, a blanket, a half-eaten sandwich, and on the wall, drawn in chalk, "If you're reading this, I got away," signed with a single heart. Melody's heart. But just as the agents were documenting the scene, a motion sensor camera at the tree line triggered. The feed showed a man watching them from the distance, tall, wearing a brown jacket. He turned, disappearing into the woods before anyone could reach him. A chase ensued. Helicopters scoured the area until dawn. No sign of him. But near the edge of a ravine, agents found a scrap of fabric snagged on a branch, brown leather matching the jacket. DNA testing confirmed it, Jacob Buzzard. He was alive, and somewhere out there, still looking for his daughter. For now, Melody's whereabouts remain unknown. But evidence suggests she's still moving, leaving subtle marks, messages, and symbols investigators continue to uncover. Some think Ashley succeeded in teaching her how to hide. Others believe Melody may now be hiding from both of them. Whatever the truth is, one thing's certain: the girl in the gray hood didn't disappear. She's surviving.